Waking up inside the shop at J5 Custom Vans this morning because it's the final day of my Well-Tech Designs lift kit. Yep, we should be all done today. I got coffee run down my chin. It didn't last long. Drank the whole thing. Pretty quick too. Should I make more coffee? Good morning, everybody. So I woke up today in half of a jacked up van. The back of my van is like boom up there. I stepped out of my van this morning to go to the washroom because we're still inside of the shop here at J5 Custom Vans, and there's a bathroom right beside my van. And well, I got out, I was like, whoa. This thing is huge. I am super stoked because today we're working on the front end, getting the front end all in, and that's the one I think is gonna look super tough. With all the extended radius arms, the bent I-beams in the front, the huge skyjacker coils. So excited. John, hurry up and wake up, buddy. Wake up! He ain't up yet. I wish I knew a little bit more about mechanics. Then I could walk you through step by step of everything that he's doing to install this lift kit on the front side of my van. But I'm not a mechanic. I'm slowly learning things bit by bit as I watch things being done to my van. That is a sway bar. I'm guessing it stops things from swaying, and it's not needed in the new lift kit, so that one is just going to the junkyard. Well-Tech Designs provided us with a detailed step-by-step instructions with pictures, but for me, that reminded me a lot like a school textbook, and I don't do well with that stuff. Read instructions is not my strong point. So that's the old radius arm, and here's the new one. There's a huge size difference in length between the two radius arms. This is the one that's going in.
Good. Not looking good.
These are the springs that were in my van. These are the springs that we're putting inside of it now. These are the Skyjacker ones that we got with our Well-Tech Baja Grocery Getter kit. And believe it or not, these ones here were actually upgraded once before. My factory ones were way down here. These were out of a Ford F450, and then the spring shop cut them down a little lower and added another little coil in there so it would fit into my van. But this one here actually lifted my van 2.5 inches originally. Now, well, look at the size difference. Unbelievable. So stoked. This one goes into the scrap pile with the rest of my suspension. That's all the suspension. I got my rear leaf springs, my front springs, my radius arms, my I-beams, all 4 of my shocks. I took the chance right now to give everything in here a fresh coat of paint, just with the rattle can spray paint, just to make sure everything looks all nice and clean. That way when it's in there, you're not gonna see any of the yucky stuff. Much like I did here in the back. See, it just looks way cleaner with a fresh coat of paint. Yeah. John's working on this side right now. We got the other side all unbuckled and done. See, the other side looks way better with a fresh coat of paint. You don't get to see all the little rusty stuff going on here on the frame. They actually gave us printed instructions just on a PDF file on my phone, so you can actually take a look at it and read the instructions. But we found that watching the instructions on YouTube, because Well-Tech Designs actually has a full series of videos on how to install this kit in the Ford vans. And the video, believe it or not, is way better than reading the step-by-step, line-by-line instructions, because the video is extremely visible. So I highly suggest, if you're going to put this kit into your van, watch the videos instead of reading the actual paper instructions. Come on, man, it's 2021. Paper instructions? What? Man. If the front end ends up being just as high as the back end, This van is going to be a total beast. I don't know what the measurement is back here, but that is a huge amount of lift. I think when we measured it yesterday, it was spot on, pretty close to 6 inches. So we will see once we get the front on, take it out for a little bit of a drive, see if anything kind of settles up a little bit, and see if we're actually getting a true 6-inch lift out of this whole entire kit. Bada boom.
Because if you do that, what it does is it actually pulls the wheel back in the wheel well. So everything that we're going to try to do, you would work against it. So that basically is a crush sleeve that allows you to tighten it. Then you're going to put on the big round bushing. Put this bushing on, you'll feel it go in there.
Then this guy.
Yep.
Yep.
Then the radius arm goes on.
Forward.
Yep, the bracket.
Now this is where things get exciting for me. To know that all my old suspension has been ripped out and the brand new stuff is going in the front. John's just cleaning up a section of the frame right now so he can weld on the new brackets for the new radius arms, which are measured like 10 inches back from the body mount bracket. And the new radius arms actually push my front tires forward a little bit farther, keeping them away from, well, you know, on the inside of the van here, the standard place for things to rub is your big tire in here. Well, the new radius arms will push the tire forward a little bit farther, giving it a little bit more turn inside of here and cut down on the rubbing, allowing us to fit in the big tires that we put on the van yesterday.
Radius arm and bracket setup, along with new People say, well, I want to be able to put this kit on, but I don't have access to a welder. What can I do? Well, you could take it to a weld shop, have the brackets welded on, take it back to your house, and then fully assemble, disassemble and assemble the kit. So if you don't have a welder, if you don't know how to weld, you're not totally, you're not limited by that. There is ways around it that we can really, work with you and help you get everything you need.
Something that was a little bit confusing is in the video here, this little thing pops up in the video saying to measure back 10 inches from that bracket. But in the video itself, he says to measure it at 9 3/4 inches. When you look at the instructions on my phone here, where is it here? Right there, number 3. They've made it super bold right there. With the frame clean, measure from the body mount backwards, big and bold, 10 inches. So that's what we did. This will be the front line of the new bracket. So we ended up going with the 10 inch because it was big and bold in the video and text, and here clearly in 10 inches. So fingers crossed that's what the measurement's supposed to be. You look super aggressive. I seriously turn away for 2 seconds. I come back and, well, all this stuff has been put together. He's got the radius arms on, the I-beams are mounted, the springs are mounted on this side. The only thing that's left is now to stick all the caliper and all that stuff on here so we can attach the wheel to it, but everything is in place. Look at the size of those coils. That, my friends, is absolute madness. Quite a while ago when I did the initial little budget lift on my van, I just couldn't afford to go out and buy the Well-Tech Designs lift kit at that time. And now it kind of makes me wish I would have just held off a little bit, saved a little bit more money, and bought this kit right out of the gate. Because if you really look at it, I spent, what, $700-800, whatever it was, to do my other little cheesy lift. And it was just never enough. It got me a little bit more clearance, sure. It looked a little bit cooler, sure. But it's not like a complete suspension change like this one is gonna be. So I think sometimes it's always good to just hold off a little bit and get the right kit at the right time. just wait for it. You know, I've done a few of those upgrades on my van where I'm like, well, I'll do this for now and then I'll get that later. And then before you know it, you know, lifestyle changes a little bit more money comes in your way, you get out of debt, and all of a sudden you realize I spent $1,000 to do that when I should have just waited and did the big hit. Next thing on the agenda is to install the Fox steering stabilizer. John's just drilling the holes for that now. So what he's done here is he's attached a string around the tires, because driving down to get a wheel alignment right now is like not an option. So he calls this the rock buggy wheel alignment. If you guys seen the video the other day, this guy's got a pretty crazy rock buggy. So as you can tell in the back tires are straight. The string goes straight across both of them. Then as you come along to the front tire, you can see how far off that is. That's a huge difference. As for lift measurements, look at the size of that lift. We got 4.5 inches in height in the front. And these measurements, I know this is a 6-inch lift kit, but keep in mind that my van already had a lift in it before this one went in. So our original number started at 37.75 inches before, and it ended at 42 inches. Which would means like the factory height on this thing is definitely going to be probably about another couple inches lower than this current number because of my previous lift. But on the back of this thing, we got more lift than I was expecting to get out of here. That is monstrously huge. So it kind of has a slight little bit of lift in the back, which I'm okay with because this van has so much weight on the back section of here. And we have a set of 5,000 pound rated leaf springs in the back of this van, which has given the entire back a 6-inch lift. Keep in mind, this measurement is also, the starting measurement is also higher because of the initial lift before it, not the factory height. So we've got, that's the difference, 36.5 and we ended up 42.5, a total of 6 inches on the lift. And I learned this from doing my lift prior to this one, just a few inches, that things will settle down a little bit. So I'm sure you'll see that number drop down a small amount over the next 6 months or so, over the next few months as it slowly starts to settle itself in. But all in all, that is one monster of a van.
Something we did just to make the wheel alignment a little easier is we changed out some of the rusty front steering parts with brand new products, pretty much giving me an entirely brand new front end and suspension. So if you guys are going to do your kit, I highly suggest maybe going the extra mile and changing out some of those parts while you're underneath there already. When we got the van outside and I got a chance to see how big this thing looked, I was totally shocked. You see, I've watched a lot of videos on WeldTech designs, and none of them ever looked this big. This thing demands attention. I took it out on a first run in town. I hit speed bumps. I swayed it back and forth left to right trying to see how much rock and roll it has. And holy crap, you guys, does this thing ever drive well. I can't wait to get this thing out into the backcountry and seriously put it to the test. This was the 6-inch Baja Grocery Getter lift kit from WeldTech Designs. I've left the links on our website at VANCITYVanLife.ca. Thanks to J5 Custom Vans for all the work you did on the van. It's been a long few days, and I think I just need to go have a beer. Thanks for watching, you guys, and thank you all for being here. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow.